Hello, good sir. So I am going to introduce you real quick, okay?
Okay.
Cool. So this man, and I'm going to bring you on the screen because you're just that awesome. Everyone look at Rick's beautiful shining face. This man right here is one of the most awesome guys I know, and I have been going out to dinners, building a relationship with him and a couple other guys for the last 2 years, and it has been so amazing. And he's a awesome teacher and coach and like a mentor to me, helping me grow and become my greatest possible self. And he's also up to amazing things, helping people become limitless, helping people remove the limiting beliefs that are stopping them. And this guy has done his work. Lots and lots and lots of studying, lots and lots and lots of practicing, testing, and being his own guinea pig, so to speak, in his life. You know, the laboratory of your life. You've done NLP, you've spoken on stages, you've taught, you've done so much, and that's just the beginning of it. So, dude, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing about your journey and story with us, and we're so appreciative, man.
Yeah, awesome to be here. Totally awesome.
Awesome. So this is just the beginning, and we're going to go back just a little bit to your journey about how you got to where you are today, some of the lessons that you learned along the way, maybe some of the challenges, some of the places you got stuck, and catch us up.
All right, we'll do that. Okay. So my life for the longest time has been split between two different paths. One really being where I was so passionate and interested in personal development and really discovering myself and helping other people discover their path. And the other one, this IT world that I lived in, called my day job, right? I had to kind of take care of business, pay the bills, do the type of stuff, right? And, I did a lot of traveling, a lot of work for a lot of different companies. And my life was constantly going down these dual paths, right? The two never met. And, as I did the coaching, personal coaching, dating coaching, financial coaching, all that stuff, I learned all these different pieces, all these different systems. And what's really strange about that is there wasn't a congruent piece to put it all together, right? It was all pieces of the puzzle. And I went through kind of about 2 years ago, almost a breakdown. I was like, oh my God, I've worked on myself so hard. I've done all this stuff. Nothing seems to fit. Nothing seems to work. I tried X. Got some results, but nothing that really permanently made the shift, right? Then the aha moment came, and this was it, right? I'm sitting there, and I'll never forget it. I'm sitting at this coffee shop, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, I do all this work. I wish I could just merge this stuff together. And then the aha moment was the very methodologies and stuff that I've been using to help build teams and build amazing software from every place from Google to Amazon to all these other companies. I said, why don't I try that same process in my personal life? And I had about 3 people through it. This is about 2 years ago. And I said, all right, I'm going to be on a call 6:30, and I want you to join me for 30 minutes.
6:30 a.m.?
6:30 a.m. Yeah. So I'm ready to and I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how long it's going to last, but you just need to trust me. I don't know what they were smoking, but hey, they agreed to it. So we got on these calls, and I started going through this process that I used to build teams, but at a personal level, right? And I found the framework worked. Every single time we're trying to overcome limiting beliefs, there was a framework, a piece of it fit into the process. When we're trying to build encouraging and empowering beliefs, it worked. When we're building a community structure, it worked. When we're working on building what we call systems, that are really collections of patterns that build out and solve your problems, it worked. And we saw actual functioning results from the whole process. And I took it forward. Now I've built out even more of it, because one of the key aspects of the entire thing is basically 2 critical ideas. The first one is that everything in life is nothing but an experiment. And it's designed to play with life, right? When you don't have, you don't know what to do, whatever, you just create an experiment. From that experiment, you have some type of validated learning. You learn something. So nothing ever becomes something you can't overcome with an experiment, right? The other thing is the foundation of community that supports the entire thing. You're not in this alone, right? We form what we call pods, and these pods take you and go through this entire transformative process to help you evolve through the entire thing. So you've got basically 4 or 5 other people right there in the ditches with you, helping you out, being your accountability partners, how being your group of friends, or actually become almost family because you share so much with them, and you become so connected by this sharing process, and both of you helping each other out, that it really gets to be more family.
Yeah, and you also mentioned an element of trust, or at least leadership, right? Leadership. You create leadership in these processes, in these pods, and that instills trust. If you let someone lead a group and you teach them how to lead it, then that instills trust that they can handle whatever you throw at them.
Exactly, and the key thing there is they take, in order to be a leader, you have to have respect, and respect is mutual, right? And that's what happens is they begin to respect each other, both where they're at, and take responsibility not just for themselves, but for the whole group. And it's through that mutual responsibility that they end up growing, bonding, forming, and then also what we call even, storming forward to be able to say, hey, I can overcome the things that are holding me back because I see other people doing it. And the other people are supporting me to do it. So you got your cheerleaders and your support squad right there with you. Right?
Wow, that's amazing. So, what did it take to be able to design this system? How did you get it to actually work?
Well, that's a really great question. And the first part was really coming up and saying, what's the framework? All right. You've been through a lot of self-development stuff. I have. There's a lot of different pieces out there, right? Yeah. And the challenge is what's the hooks you hang these things on, right? Because every piece, like NLP solves communication problems. Left code method solves belief patterning problems, landmark community issues, right? There's all these different pieces of the puzzle. But the problem is if you just deal with one thing, you solve just one problem, right? But how do you put the pieces together? How do you put them in a framework that works? And I use that word very, very specifically. These are things, a framework is something that you pour yourself into, not something that you have to follow. It's like the reason why we don't go and use a model, for example, is it's like wearing someone else's underwear, right? It might work for that person, might not work for you, right? So that's one of the key things. A framework you put yourself into. And this is what the idea of it. It's reflective psychology. You pour yourself into it, and by answering the questions and following the process, you clearly see yourself. We have a very, very powerful tool for that called canvases. And those, I think I showed you one of those. Those are those really large kind of drawings, if you will, that when you go through and fill those out, you visually see yourself, right? And once you can take a step back and look at yourself from a distance, you can really start to see not just who you are, but even help yourself become who you want to be.
Wow. That's awesome. So it's getting to see who we are right now, right? And we have to take an inventory. We have to be aware. We have to assess the current situation, and then we also have to design an endpoint, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then the experimentation process is what bridges the gap.
Exactly. And it really hit one of the core problems I've always had personally, which was I'd always have these goals, right? Everybody makes goals. Got to have a goal. And I've always struggled with that concept and idea. I'd be one of those people like, all right, I got my goals. I write them down. All right. Got them on my list, on my wall. I'm going to go do them. All right. And then I go and I try and I get there and I'm like, one of two things happen, right? Either you miss the goal by the time you set it, right? You're like, crap, I didn't get my goal, right? And how do you feel? You're like, crap, right?
Yep.
By the way, what do?
Beat ourselves up, hide.
Well, create another goal, right?
Yeah.
Well, after you beat yourself up, right? You create another goal, right? So you feel like crap, but you create another goal to try and make that one, right?
Yep.
So that's not really encouraging, right? That's negative psychology.
Yeah.
And then even if you meet it, what do?
Just it's not good enough. I got to set a new goal.
Right. So it's always this, you're never good enough psychology. Right. Yeah. So what we've done in becoming Limitless is we break that psychology all up. You don't create goals. You create objectives that you want to do or outcomes that you want. Right. And we create what we call systems. All right. So a system is very simple. A system is basically saying I have something that I do want to achieve. But every day, what's a tiny, tiny, tiny thing I can do to move myself towards it, right? So it's not like you have to jump to something. And so let's say you have the outcome of, I want to get healthier, and you decide to go and do jogging every morning, right? Okay. So if that's what you want to do, that's your experiment, jogging, right? And you go in and you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, I'm late. Oh, I can't do much. And then it's like, oh, I don't feel like it. It's successful if you just go to the door and put your shoes on. Hey, you know what? That's okay. I got a little bit further. And it's successful the next day when you just get down the block by walking it. It's successful the next day when you just kind of get around the block. All right. That's the idea of system thinking, that you take every day a tiny step, a tiny step, and a tiny step. So it's positive psychology. It's positive reinforcement, right? You are, as long as you work your system, you're successful. Right? And it's that whole little drop of water put into a single teacup every single day, sooner or later, it overflows.
Yeah, it's the compound effect, that it's like, it might seem like you're only investing a penny today, but a penny doubled every year for the next, 25, 30 years, eventually becomes like $10 million.
Exactly. And that's it with the psychology that's here with how we're thinking about it, right?
Wow.
So
that's awesome. So what else sets Becoming Limitless apart from other methodologies?
Well, it's really kind of the glue that holds them all together, right? And it's really one of the biggest feedback I got the last time I did it, which was about the main weekend course. This person that was an NLP trainer was going through the course and said, what Becoming Limitless does is it actually, you take action of all the things that you learned about and should have taken action on all the other courses you took. So how it's you're taking these courses, you go there, you come home, and you go, oh, that's great, and then you don't do anything.
And then you leave, and then it's like, all right, shelf help.
right, exactly. And this is all about taking action. You take action in the course. This is not one of those things, I'm going to sit back and be a wallflower, I'm not going to do anything. No. You are sharing, you are doing the work inside the course. You are leaving with your life designed the way you want it, with the action steps you need to take it. And you can go right in, because right after the Becoming Limitless weekend, we jump right into the Limitless Results, which is our morning calls, right? It holds you accountable. You have accountability partners. You have a pod. You have all of what we call Kanban boards, which is a brand new way of dealing with every single thing in your life. And we put all that stuff together, and you leave with all those materials, and you just take action and do it. And we make sure that you take those actions, because we hold you accountable to it.
So is there any part of this system that you've seen people find it's too difficult to learn? Because you, Rick, are a bright, smart cookie.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes.
It's my role and my job to make the complex simple, right? Yeah. And that's what I do over the weekend, is I take it and I break things down for you. I break it little by little by little. And it's like the easiest way to eat an elephant, bite at a time, right? And that's what we do. We give you little bites of it, and you take it. And that's where the canvases really come into play. You really are there as I introduce a concept, filling out the canvas, seeing it, that reflective psychology coming back, oh yeah, this is opening up different areas and different aha moments for me, and then sharing with other people right in that weekend to say, oh, this is how other people see it, this is how other people see me. And that's how you end up starting to grow, and that's how you get that connection. So it is definitely what we call an iterative process, right? It's something that is very cyclical, and it's designed around continuous process improvement.
So is this something that people can do for the rest of their life?
It's exactly designed for that. You leave, you come back. And by the way, it's not just for dealing with personal stuff. Like I said, we've done this. I do this at work. I do this for my personal life. It can even be done for the family. There are things called, we even have what we call family Kanban boards. You get everybody going to it, doing your daily stand-up, which is our meetings or creation calls. You're saying, hey, what did I do yesterday? What did I do today? What kind of actions you taking now? And is there anything holding you back? That's the core concept, is that we can address life in a very agile way every single day, and then take on whatever life throws at you.
Awesome. So it sounds like this whole process is what makes the difference. Is there anything you can give us right now, our audience, to start implementing today that's going to make a difference for us and possibly prepare us for the weekend, or just even without the weekend, that it would make a difference for us in the quality of our life?
I sure can. And so one of the things I put on, and this is available on my website, is the 7 steps to finding your why. right? And it gives you a little taste of what we do. And actually, that's part of I took pieces of my canvases and put it into this free download you can get from my website. And what that does is it takes you through the process that I use in the program. And actually, we use it in the first few hours of the program to give you an idea of the scope of the program, to help people discover their why, their purpose for being here. Right. And it's a very simple process where we go through it and say, okay, what is the things that you really want to get out of life? What are your value systems? What is your own structures around your time? What is the structures around, finding your basically things that you are best at, right? Yeah. And merging all that together to help you discover through the process your purpose. And that's one of the things that I can give you guys right now. It's like, go to becominglimitless.com, hit that download button, take it. You'll see how it's a step-by-step process. You can walk right through it, and it gives you a really great idea of how the process works. It's really looking at it, answering questions, going through, understanding yourself, and getting those aha moments.
Awesome. I would love to hear a little bit more about the types of results that people get after going through the system, or the types of results you've seen businesses experience, or anything that you can give us around putting it to use, and what can we expect?
Okay, very cool. So, and I found this is fascinating. As people go through the program, specifically the one when they're every day on the call, right? There's a couple pieces that happen to them psychologically, and this is, and I'll tell you the reason. I'll tell you the science behind what is happening here, because I'm very much into the science of this.
Yes.
Right? So on the calls, what we're doing is we have a very structured format. Okay. Part of that is we experience gratitude, right? And we do what we call creation, right? And identity reformation, right? And then one of the biggest pieces of it, of course, is this, what did I do yesterday? What am I doing today? And anything that I need to do in terms of support to help me overcome something, right? In that process, we're really doing, if you look at the science of it, is rewiring the neural net in such a way that people look at life in a much more positive aspect. Okay. And through that, they become also more accountable for the results of their life. Right. And say, hey, not once, and that becomes empowering for them to do it. Now, some of the side effects is this, and I found this so interesting. Apparently, people go through, usually about the third or fourth week, have this desire, for whatever reason, to completely organize everything in their life. Everybody else then puts goals out there like, I just cleaned the garage and I haven't got to it in 10 years. Wow. Or it's like, I just reorganized my... And I can tell you why that's happening. What's happening here is they're becoming more empowered, and they see the value of taking action and doing things. And so the one thing that they have the ability to take immediately action on is the things that are around them. And so they become really, really well organized, and then become more empowered after they do that. And see, hey, what else can I take on, right? And so they take on something else. They become more empowered at work, right? Why? Because they're not looking at, I just do my job, right? No, their responsibility is the organization. When they think of the big picture, they take on more, and that's the attitude that their employers and everybody else is looking for. And they become the very powerhouses of change within their organization, breaking through the glass ceilings, breaking through the glass walls, building up communities within their organizations and making transformation happen. And I've been lucky enough, that through my day job, I'm starting to use these tools and techniques and seeing transformations happening there for myself. So it's incredible.
That's awesome. Is there any type or group of people that this is most applicable to, or helps them out more than others that you've seen?
Well, I can tell you, if you come from an IT background, you're going to get the terminology and the stuff really easy. Now, that being said, anybody will get this stuff. It'll click for you, because I take you through all the different pieces of it. But if there's anybody out there from an IT perspective and they hear the word agile and scrum and stuff like that, they'll be like, oh yeah, I know that stuff. I do it at work. I'm like, well, turn it around, use it for your personal life, and you'll see that it actually works, right? For those that aren't familiar with that terminology or that background, I take you through the entire pieces of it, and there's I've discovered in the process of it that as much as I want to just teach the new and cool stuff, I have to also teach the stuff that deals with your past, right? So the very first pieces are, we do a mastery over self, which is all the internal pieces, putting those pieces together. We do mastery over the past, which is dealing with the limiting beliefs that are holding you back, all right? Then we jump into mastery over the present, which we show you how to empower yourself. And then finally, we get to mastery of the future, where we create the foundation for the base part of the program, which is really all all Sunday, where we talk about the program and the systems and everything else you can create with it. So we have to create a foundation, which everybody will get before we can move into the new stuff. So I take everybody through. So
that's awesome, man. Awesome. In terms of the foundation, what are people missing from their current foundation? What could they do right now to start implementing a better foundation in their life?
Well, I think there's a couple different pieces to that. The first piece that I've always seen is that we tend to bring the baggage of our past into our present moment, right? And we wonder why the things that we're trying to do right now are not as effective, right? And 9 times out of 10, that's because you're dragging your past into what you're doing right now, right? And now there's a lot of different, ways of dealing with that. I have a very structured format to that, where I look at different areas of the limiting beliefs and where they actually, the root cause of it and where it came from. And we go through a remodeling method. It's very similar to the Lefko method. And we kind of go through that process and then deal with the thinking errors that cause those belief patterns to occur. Right? And there's several different thinking errors that we talk about. And then once you get that and you say, oh, wait a minute, there's another way I should be thinking about that event, you can give that event different meaning. And once you have a different meaning in that event, that belief starts going away. And now when you've let that go, you've let go of the baggage and the rocks that you're carrying with you, right? You put the baggage down, you can now move forward and run fast, right? And now take on this new dimension, if you will, with the Become a Limitless system.
Where do you feel that most people get stopped in removing those limiting beliefs, like getting past those negative situations? Is it not knowing how? Is it not having the willingness to take a look at it, not having courage? Like, where do you think most people get stopped with that?
I would say most of the time it's really around they have to have the courage to look at it, right? And I think that's the biggest thing. If you're coming in there, and part of that too, this is why I love the group dynamics that happened over the weekends, right? Is that you're in a social dynamic that encourages you to share because you're not the only one. Other people are opening themselves up. And immediately when you do that and you're sharing one-on-one with people or within a group, you feel that, I don't want to say necessarily social pressure, but I certainly say social responsibility to be able to say, I need to share as well, right? And then you find out once you open yourself up that, hey, it's not so bad, right? It doesn't hurt that much. There's there's no pain there. You're letting the pain out, right? And then you can look at it once you let that go and go, why did I think like that? That's kind of silly.
Yeah.
And that's the aha moments that happen. That's the, wow, okay, I'm seeing that from a different point of view, right? And the community there is there to support you, not just from a listening perspective, but from a reflective perspective, right? Because we really do, I love this saying, is we become what we think other people think of us, right?
Wow.
So that reflective conscious modeling is what happens in that weekend, where all this other group is helping you rise to your next level.
Wow. That's incredible. Incredible. So for people to get the maximum result out of this weekend, say they were to attend, what would they have to do to prepare to be ready for whatever you're going to throw at them, the onslaught of transformation that you're going to bring to the table?
Well, you said it right there. The weekend is an intensive, okay? So you have to be ready for something that's going to really be intense. And I mean you're going to be exhausted after this, mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted, right? We deal with a lot of stuff. And it's a dump of stuff into your brain. It's a dump of stuff out of your brain and looking at it. And that's the thing. I think the biggest part is being ready to be able to take this on, right? Being open to it, okay? Being coachable and saying, you know what? I'm going to leave my preconceived notions at the door. I'm going to listen and just reflect, right? And if you open yourself up to the program, you open yourself into it, and then be honest and pour yourself into it, you're going to get 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times more out of it than you put in. And then once you build that community within the program and in the limitless action part of it that comes after that, it creates that base for you. It creates that foundation that you can always move forward. And that's where we start with, by the way. We start with community, because community is where you actually form your experiences that create your beliefs, that create your systems, that create your patterns, that give you the results you need.
What happens if people don't have the community piece, but they attempt to do it on their own, reprogram their beliefs on their own, and do it all on their own?
That becomes a lot harder because we are social animals, right? Every part of our structure, our societal structure, our personal identity, right, is created from community. You are born into community, right? You're born into a family. Now, the ironic thing about being born into your family is, what choice did you have about your religion, about your politics, about who you were surrounded by? None.
Yeah.
Now, as an adult, that's a whole different story, isn't it? Right? As an adult, you get to choose.
Yeah.
That's the key thing. Choosing what and who you want to be. And that starts with the people that you hang around with.
Wow.
Right? Choosing those. And that's how you start transformation right there.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What has been some of the biggest lessons that you've learned about yourself, about life, personal development over the years? What have been a couple of those that you can share with our audience?
I think that I was always a perfectionist, right? I couldn't put anything out there until it was absolutely perfect, right? And all these details, and I had to go through it 20 million ways, and unless it was perfect, I just couldn't do it, couldn't put it up, right? This program was the first time I really let go of that, because I use the framework every day. I live the framework. The program is the framework, and the program is created from the framework. Okay? So it's this iterative process of looking at we call them retrospectives. Okay? So what we do is we have, at the end of the weekend, a retrospective on the program about what could it be better, what could be done. And the people in the program create the program.
Wow.
And then as you go through it, the reason I do that is because it teaches you, because we're going to have in the limitless action part of the program, you actually have a retrospective on yourself with the 5 of the people you're in a pod with. And that allows you to let go of the sense that you got to be perfect. There is no such thing. There's no way it has to be. It just has to be. You see? So you let go of that particular thing that it has to be a particular way. You just become fine with just being. Because in the process itself, it's continuously always getting better.
What is the biggest growth opportunity you see in the process becoming better, or the program being able to deliver more of what it was intended for?
Well, I'm excited about people grabbing onto it. So they're starting to pull the program to them, and it's what's fascinating about it is how much people want to add to it, and then take it and share it. And that it's almost viral to a regard, right? Because they see it work in their own life, and they go, "Hey, I got to go do this. I got to go use this. I got to go give it to someone else," right? And it's that idea that life is just a set of experiments. It's just play with it, and learn from it, follow the process, and no matter what your problem is, whether it's relationships, it's wealth, it's health, it's your career, it doesn't matter what it is. This process will get you from point A to point B. It'll take you to the next level, and the level after that, and the level after that, and the level after that. Just follow the process. And it's don't take my word for it. You're using the very technology, I guarantee you, from Facebook to Google and everything, that was built on this idea of iterative experimentation and validation through that model that created everything else technology that you used. Now I want you to use that technology on yourself.
Wow. Incredible, incredible, incredible. What else do we need to know about the Becoming Limitless technology that you haven't yet shared?
Well, one of the most interesting parts we do in day 2 is the idea of what we call the Kanban. Okay. So what we're doing is creating these systems around your life. And we start with, this is where I really get into more looking at what I've designed around the agile process, right? So we go in and we create what we first call a vision list. This is all the things that how you envision your life, right? And this is the things that the people always say they should do, but never do, right? What are designing your life, right? But how many people take time to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to design my life now? No, they don't do that. They just live. And they wonder why 50 years or whatever years go by, and they're like, why is my life turned out the way it did? Well, you never sat back and said, where I want to go, right? And so what we do in that weekend is that actually day of the weekend, we go through and you create your vision list. From that vision list, you create the outcomes that you're looking for. And then from that, we create the very systems that will support those outcomes. We show you how to do that all on that weekend. And part of that is creating and designing the patterns or habits that support you to accomplish that, right? So all that is very, ethereal and up there. And you the very last part of the second day, we bring it down to earth by giving you a very specific and concrete process to be able to put those things into action so that you take daily actions on the visions you want to accomplish for your life. And that's it. Right? I mean, most people never take that first step. They go, I want to travel China. Have you ever gone to instance and looked at where you want to go and made a plan? No, but I'd like to go to China someday. Okay, well, guess what? It doesn't happen unless you take an action step.
Right.
Right? And we take you to that point and we hold you accountable to it. Yes, did you make that action step? Did you do it? Right?
Yeah.
That's what you do. That's exactly.
How does the accountability work specifically? And what if people just, they're continuously up to this point, they know that they've been terrible at holding themselves accountable. How is this program going to make the difference?
Great question. So number one, in the weekend, you get assigned an accountability partner right there. And they hold you accountable for that weekend. Yeah. Right. So you get that in that process again, right in the weekend. And number two, what happens is you form your pod that weekend as well. So you get the whole group right there in that group dynamic. As we move into the second part, the limitless action, as you are on those calls every single day, your accountability partner is listening to what you did yesterday, what you did today. And then when you accomplish that very task that you put yourself out to go do that matches what you're trying to accomplish from your vision, right? You go in and you text everybody and say, yep. For example, I'll take, because I do the same thing. I go with the group, but I'm on the calls and I'm telling what I'm doing, right? I'm holding myself accountable and I got my own accountability partner, right? Yeah. So I'm at the gym and I go, here's a snapshot of me at the gym. Got my sets done.
Yes.
Right? And if I don't, what happens is my accountability partner, yo, dude, you didn't make it. What's up? Right? And I have to go back on the call tomorrow and say, I didn't do that, but here's my plan today. Right? And they hold me accountable for it. And, and stuff like that happens. It's not like, this stuff always happens. And that's fine. It's not make you feel guilty or anything like that. It's not about that. It's about tiny action can you take to keep your system going. And, that's it. Right? So it's not a guilt thing. It's a responsibility thing. And it's about how can we help you move the needle forward.
It's beautiful. Tell us more about the science behind the process. You're mentioning neural networks.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Oh, yeah. You know me. I love the science piece of it. So it's based around neuroplasticity, right? And that is basically the idea, and actually not an idea, it's scientific proof now, that the brain, no matter how old you are, is still able to adapt and change. Okay. Now, why do we have? This is going to be great because a lot of different systems that you've gone through and you've seen. I've always wondered. I'm sure you wondered too. Is that why do some systems really work and others don't? Right? And some people they make the changes, and other people just sit there and don't. Right? And every single one of these, you can have aha moments. Not a problem. Right? You've done it. You've talked to people. All of a sudden, they get to the inside. Like, yeah, I get it. But then you talk to them 3 or 4 months later. They're still doing the same damn shit. Right? Okay?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
They're not, even though it's got the aha moment, right? Oh, yeah, I got it. They're still like, yeah, okay. And even though they had the breakthrough, whatever you wanted, they're still doing the same damn shit, right? The problem is this. Your habits wire your neural nets, okay? What you actually do changes biologically your mind. Okay. So in order to undo that, you have to go in and do repetitive practice that is counter to that neural net that was created before. So why do we have the repetitive practice every single morning? That is rewiring the neural net. That is through that repetition, through that practice, we actually change the neural net that is keeping you from accomplishing the changes that you want.
Wow.
Yeah. And by the way, you remember heard the saying that, 21 days to form a new habit? Sorry to say, the science says otherwise. The actual studies have now proven that it's closer to 63 days on average, a lot longer than people thought. Right? This is why those go to the gym and they're there for a month and then they're gone. Right? This is the whole thing. Like after the holidays, especially New Year's, the gym is packed. And then by the end of January, they're gone. Yep. Well, it takes a lot longer than that. It actually takes, a good 3 months before you're going to get to the point where you have fully rewired your neural net to behave and think differently. That's the side of it. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot more, by the way, but that's the piece of the neuroplasticity piece that we talk about.
All right, awesome. What else in terms of our mindset, how we show up, our way of being? How do we reprogram that in the...
So in the program, the reason we create pods is very specifically to enforce what we call a community reflective process, right? It's in that that's what allows and this is again studies have shown, is that when you are held accountable with someone else and you have that partnership, that integration, you want to be socially accepted, hence the pressure, peer pressure, right? To conform to a degree and get you. But this time I'm using that psychology. Now, I don't like the word conform because that's got a negative connotation. But we can use that psychology to work in your benefit. And that's what we're doing. We're using that group dynamic to work in your benefit to hold you accountable to accomplishing what's in your best interest. And by the way, these things that you're accomplishing are what you said you wanted.
Right. It's like the most important things to us.
Right, exactly. So it's not like we're holding you accountable to something that's like, what the heck is that? No, this is your life. This is the life you wanted to create. We're saying, guess what? We're going to support you. We're going to get you there. We're going to have you do the work, and we're going to get that life for you. So guess what? You just need to put the time in and follow the process.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And the psychology supports that.
Are the calls on the weekends too, or just the weekdays?
We actually do give you the weekend off.
Oh.
However, you do have exercises and meditations to do on the weekends. Nice. So we do that. And there's there's a whole area of not just meditations, but showing you how to become in the present moment, right? And becoming aware in the present moment. And we do this in regards to pattern reforming or habit reforming, if you will. We all have negative habits we want to get rid of, right? And I'll give you a technique right now. Very easy for you to do. Okay. If you have and can think of a negative habit, let's take smoking, for example. And this is, by the way, it's a TEDx. So you guys should check this out. It's a great TEDx. They did a study where just by having these smokers become aware in the present moment of the smoking they're doing, they saw a greater impact than any patch or any other program that's out there.
Wow.
Now think about that. What happens is they didn't tell them to quit. They didn't tell them to change their habits at all. All they said is, as you take that cigarette, become completely in the moment of every sensation of it, the taste of it, the smell of it, the everything aspect of it, right? The impact on you physically, the impact of the people around you, everything else like that. If you are that present in that moment for that negative type of an event, what does that do?
No, I don't want to do it anymore.
And that breaks it, and that changes the neural net. The thing that's always been addicting. You can do that with any negative habit that you have. Just become aware of it in the present moment. As soon as you're about to eat that cupcake, okay, what's going to happen? What am I in the present moment? Yes, but and you become like, wait a minute, I don't think I want that now, right? And that's the thing. These negative habits, these things, they're automatic. So that's why they're bad habits, because we're not thinking about them. As soon as you become aware of them, we can break it and say, hey, let's put a different pattern in place instead.
I love it. I love it. And this is, I believe you told me it's like level 1, right? What we're talking about here is level 1.
Yes.
What's to come in the future?
Oh my goodness. There's a lot more. We take you through Limitless after each weekend seminar. There's an actual daily call, right? The daily call. So that structure stays constant throughout the entire thing, right? So we start with Becoming Limitless Intensive, which is a 2-day weekend seminar. We got one coming up, and then from that we go to a 6-week program, which is Limitless Results. Okay. From that, we move into what we call Limitless Mastery. And there's a lot of different pieces in the Mastery Weekend. We really want you to kind of really understand what happens at a deeper level, right? So we're going to get into more communication patterns. We're going to show you more about how you can use this at a community level, how you can build groups and teams of this thing, right? And make it bigger in multiple dimensions. We talk a lot about gifting, right? Because gifting is one of the foundations of the program, and not just in terms of we move from gratitude to gifting in the advanced courses, right? And that's where you get back to society, you get back to your group, you get back to your pod, you get back to the greater people. And you find that is actually reflected as well. As soon as there's psychology that supports that when you actually give something, it wires you to understand that if I can give something, I must have a lot. So life isn't limiting, is it? Right? It is a world of abundance because I am giving. Right? And that's how you create a world of abundance in your psychology. By giving. You want to get more, you give. And that's the wiring that happens there. So that's what we do through Limitless Mastery. That moves into another 12-week program, which is Limitless Results, which we finally threw down to specific stuff. Get it from there. The final piece of it, we go through our Limitless Coaching weekend and help you become a master at this stuff so you can actually coach it yourself and teach these things.
Wow. Amazing. So I know you were mentioned also you have an app coming on in the future. You got some amazing stuff.
This goes right back to our goal next year is to take this program and make it virtual. Okay, so with that in mind, I've always been fascinated, right, with how do we permanently change behavior.
Yes.
Right. And it's like, okay, we know the stuff we should do, but we don't. Okay. Now, everybody has a cell phone out there. Hopefully a lot of people are probably even listening or watching this on a cell phone, right? Now, how many people can actually put that cell phone away for 24 hours and not touch it? Right? Yeah. We're wired to it, right? Okay, fine. So let's take that as a foundation. We're wired to it. Okay, fine. Now, if you're wired to every single time that thing vibrates, how do we use that to change your behavior? How do we set it up in such a way that instead of it being, oh, I got to do this, or, oh, I'm just going to use it as a distraction mechanism, we use it as a way to change your actual thinking patterns in a way that gets you the life that you want.
Sign me up. I'll buy
it. So we have a group of people coming together, both technologists as well as psychologists, and a bunch of different people from different areas that are going to get together early next year, and design this app and put it out there. And I guarantee you the first version of this thing is going to be 100% free. Okay? My goal in life is to become a billionaire. Yes. I want to reach 1 billion people in the world in a positive way and change your life. So this is going to be my gift to the world. Going to put that app out there, and we're going to see hopefully real change. And it's going to be community driven. Okay? So because that's really what all happens, right? That's like, great, I've done the things, but you've got to communicate in the community and be accountable to the community. And that's how we're going to do this.
That's incredible, man. It's incredible. And your vision is so big for what is really capable with this, and it starts at the smallest level. You perform it at the smallest level, the daily actions, the business, you're testing it in your business. Like, if it works there, then you can start. I know you mentioned layering the level of these projects and the different actions that can be taken. So if we simply just keep scaling it effectively and testing and iterating and making sure that the process works, then it potentially literally has the power to reach the entire world in a testable, environment.
Exactly. So I was like, how are you going to know it's worked? I'm going to know it works because of the feedback people give it.
Yes.
Right. Yes. It is iteration 1. Look at iteration 1 of Windows. Right. Okay. It wasn't really great. Right? Okay. But by iteration 3, it was worth something, right? And now you got Windows 10, so all that stuff. So it takes iterations to get something really right, right? The iPhone X that came out is not, it's a result of 10 years of process improvement, of 10 years of ideas and evolving of it. That's the idea that really changed me personally. I kept on thinking it had to be perfect. There is no such thing as perfect. Perfect is the process of constantly being aware and improving. It's a process. It's not an end state, right? Perfection is a process, and that's what we miss. And that's what we've used now to create the app, to create the current system that exists, and then everything else comes out of it. It's going to be the same thing. And everybody that's involved in it will be a creator of it.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah. It's like you said, everyone who's involved, everyone who touches it, influences it, and there's that ownership too. They're like, this is mine. I created this. I made a change in this thing. I want to make sure I see this thing till the end. exactly how it comes together. Exactly. And they become that owner of it. That pride of, look at, I have helped evolve this thing. And remember, we talked about reflective psychology. Well, that's really what's happening here. You're helping the community evolve. The community is helping you evolve. Wow. And as the community sees you as this amazing, incredible person, that's what you become. Wow. Yeah. Because we really are all that inside, right? Yes.
We're all.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's where we're at.
Wow, man. So is there any question that I didn't ask you that you wish I would have asked you, Rick?
Thank God you didn't ask my age.
33?
That's right. Or the, I don't know, 20th time. No, anyways. But anyways, no, I think you covered a lot of it. It's like I said, it's evolving, and it's all about, we go through this process where it's not about just change. It's not just about transformation. It's about evolution. Change is taking one thing and trying to see it go to another. That's not real change, though, is it? That really is where the end state that people want to be in. Even transformation is only, I've reached another point. It's about evolution, because evolution never stops, right? Evolution is a process. That's what most people miss when they go to these seminars and talk about these things. About, change is not good. Great. Transformation isn't either, because it's an end state. You need something that's continuous. Wow. Evolution is continuous. And that is what this whole thing is about. Personal evolution through community and technology.
Dang. Winning formula, man. Winning formula. I'm so excited to see this develop and blossom, and I'm really excited to be there this weekend and check it all out and see it firsthand, man. It's going to be brilliant. And in terms of what people do next, how do they stay connected with you? How do they get involved?
Okay. Go to becominglimitless.com, all right? You can connect, information's there. You can download some stuff. You can start getting your hands dirty on it. You can always email me at rick@becominglimitless.com, all right? Chris, we're going to give out, I think I gave you some codes. So if you want to, cool. Whatever you want to do there on your site, we'll post it out for this Facebook piece, and people connect us from there as well. So
awesome. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Rick, you're a powerhouse, man, and I'm blessed to have you in my life.
Ditto.
Everyone who comes in contact with you, man, is so lucky. And it's not just the business, it's not just your work or the personal stuff that you excel in. You also have a lot of fun. You're also very caring, compassionate person, like you said, billion care. You just have an incredible life, and it's so awesome seeing you blossom, seeing you create this, and I'm really excited to be on this journey with you, man, and contributing however I can, and see you grow, and who knows where we'll be in a year. It's the evolution. Can't predict that, it's like so quantum leap that you can't even possibly,
Yeah, well, it's you got to find your true calling, find your passion, and follow it. Yeah. And I believe that in that gifting, right, of your true passion and your calling, everything in the world gets better, right? And this is mine. Yeah. This is my gift to the world, and that's what this is about for me. This isn't about, trying to build a business, whatever. This is about gifting.
Yeah.
This is my gift to the world. And if I can help just one person overcome something that's holding them back to make their life just a little bit better, it's worth it.
Beautiful, man. Awesome. Rick Pierce, you're a superstar. Keep up the great work, dude. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing with our audience today. And if you are out there listening, definitely go to becominglimitless.com. Sign up for the weekend. It's happening this weekend. What is that? September 23rd, 24th? 24th, 25th?
That's right.
23rd, 24th. So it's going to be in Orange County. Definitely come out. It'll be a lot of fun. And Rick, keep up the great work, and I'm sure we'll have you back on in another couple months, and you can share all about the new developments and cool stuff that you got going on, man.
Awesome, man.
Awesome, dude. Have the best day ever, brother.
See you, bro. Have a good one.